I'm joined here by my colleague Stephen McCord, who's the Deputy General Secretary in UTU. Mario Shea wanted to be here, but she can't now, but she has worked behind the scenes on this. So this is obviously a joint webinar between the UTU, the INTU, and the NEU, and it's part of our series of webinars and training courses we do as our joint venture when it comes to training and recruitment. Right, so I'm just going to start my video that you can see the slides, the important bits. Yeah, so today's webinar is on advancing your career. And there are two bits to it. Today we're going to focus on one. And what we're going to focus on today is what practical and also somehow theoretical steps you can take to advance your career and potentially gaining a leadership post in a particular school. We will follow this up probably around September, October with a session with principals, and that would be very much focusing on interview skills and techniques and particular questions and tasks, sometimes also that you might expect when it comes to getting leadership posts in a school. And that doesn't just have to be principals, and that can be vice principals or head of departments as well. So we follow up on this. So let's start with today's part of the webinar then. We hope that you find the information really useful and also thought-provoking. Now, this is a journey for you moving forward, and obviously advancing your career is not something that will happen overnight. Ultimately, it will require you taking on additional responsibilities or leadership work within your school context. Taking this step requires an investment of your time, and we all know everyone in schools is really stretched for time, but it will require time and energy outside of the normal working pattern to achieve that. You can, of course, and you might be able to utilize some of your contractual 1 to 6 hours and the time budget being a really important key factor here. But most of the time, you might have to use some of your personal time. We would always advise to seek opportunities which can be mutually beneficial for you and your school as you move forward with this project and endeavor for yourself, because you're more likely to get out in training courses or sometimes even secondment when the school can see that the knowledge and the skills that you acquire, and you bring them back into your own school context. Right. So professional growth in education is obviously vital in helping you attain your career goals. And the growth is not just about coursework or workshops or conferences. It can also take you onto higher roles in your school that help you grow. So you can step out of your classroom and expand upon your expertise, which can help enhance your horizons and raise your salary. And here are just some of the tips that can help you advance your career in education. And for most people, that will very much be defining your own career goals. So you might have a particular interest in, let's, for example, say numeracy, or if you're in post-primary, obviously this can be defined by your subject and your area of expertise. But it's essential to closely examine what you hope to achieve in your education career. And being certain what you want to get out of this and what inspires you in your career life will help you create that personal blueprint for workplace success. It will also provide an escape route if you find yourself in an unfulfilling role. And once you have defined your career advancement goals, you can share them with others, particularly those who might impact your planned journey. So if you are aspiring to take on a leadership role in the future, you know that it will have a huge impact on whatever school you are working in. And here's just a little bit of a fact which we found quite interesting. And the question was, what percentage of the population can actually be leaders? And there was a study done by Gallup, according to which 10% of the population are natural leaders, and another 20%, they possess those leadership traits. And with certain training and guidance, they can be great leaders. So today we're just going to focus on a number of strategies which will help you along the journey to advancing your career and possibly towards school leadership. So the first thing we want to look at is professional development. You might be, and you are most likely, good or very good teacher, although we don't obviously want to use those Ofsted terms anymore. But fulfilling all your duties with excellence, probably what you're doing already. Doesn't mean, though, that you have to stay confined in classrooms. You should try and take advantage of further learning and obviously be enthusiastic about acquiring any new skills, since some teachers, and I'm stressing some teachers, come with an attitude of, oh, I know that all, and that can really become a barrier to learning those fresh skills. And we always say to our kids, every day is a learning day. And we should probably say that to ourselves as well more regularly. And regardless of what stage you are in your teaching career, that is true. That is a true statement. Improving your knowledge obviously makes you employable and puts you in a better position to get a new job or a promotion. And if we're looking at further education, we've got this on this slide here. We've got Queen's, we've got PQL stories, we've got Teach, we've got the Department of Economy with certain courses, and we've got the master's degrees in education as well that certain universities offer. It does have personal benefits, such as giving you additional insights and also self-confidence. And that is something that they're looking for when it comes to educational leadership. So you can obviously do a master's in education, although that's most likely carrying a cost, and you have to see whether you want to invest that or not. But it can certainly enhance your skills and most likely secure a higher designation. So those courses here are available, for example, through Queen's, through St. Mary's University College, Stranmillis College, and Open University. And some might go on to actually do a PhD as well. Then obviously you don't have to go through higher education. There are lots of other opportunities you can go, and lots of providers and lots of other opportunities you can actually acquire that professional development, pursue that professional development. And obviously, as we all know, education is a very fast-paced area, and standing still can quite often mean you're falling behind research and development. So by engaging in continuous learning, whether that's through workshops or seminars or educational conferences, you expose yourself to those latest pedagogical strategies or classroom technologies and insights into student psychology. They don't just refresh your enthusiasm for teaching, and to be honest, we don't really get out of the classroom often enough anymore, where we might get that fresh enthusiasm, but they also equip you with innovative tools and ideas to enhance your classroom. So again, there are a couple of sources and a range of sources, including those joint union webinars that we have. For example, this one, we have leadership conference, we have got future and teaching groups, we have all sorts of offers. So do stay up to date with our joint union webinars and training courses. You've got through the Education Authority, you've got the TPL, the Teacher Professional Learning Programs, St. Mary's University College Summer School, for example. You've got Stranmillis College, and they're offering professional development program. And INTU and UTU, as I said, we have got learning programs, and I know that the NEU has that as well. So gaining diverse experience. Now, take opportunities to teach different age groups or subjects. That's not something that most post-primary school teachers or even EA support services would struggle with, because that's just something that's coming automatically with the job. But in primary schools, we quite often find that teachers can become comfortable, or they don't even get the opportunity to leave their key stage. So if you move around the key stages and go from P1 to P7 and back again, it obviously shows later on that you can be versatile in your teaching, and it gives you a breadth of experience across the school, and it also allows you to see the progression within subject areas from one age group or key stage to another. Sometimes we found that it can be hard to understand the role of, for example, a foundation stage teacher if you've only ever taught in upper key stage 2. And similarly, for post-primary, I know through my own experience that teaching A-level is a completely different kettle of fish than teaching GCSE classes. What you can also do, of course, is you can take on a leadership role or an administrative role in your school. So, for example, you can apply for becoming head of department or key stage coordinator. You can lead on a certain curriculum area, or just even take responsibility for a project area of work. For example, extended schools and shared education. And again, that very much depends on your own area of interest and what your school offers. And some schools have particular profiles as well that you might be interested in. This is probably a good opportunity to say that most of those jobs should really come with teaching allowance. And if they don't come with a teaching allowance, make a point of requesting one. And if if nothing comes out of it money-wise, definitely ask for the time because you will need that time to prepare for that. And that should be part of your 1 to 6 hours. You can, of course, help organizing some extracurricular events. Again, if you're interested in particular sports, you can offer to coach that. There might be other clubs. There are Duke of Edinburgh. There are all these different clubs, Lego clubs. I'm not even going to start to say them all. You know them yourselves, but they are very much school dependent as well, and you can see what there is on offer. Or you can, again, assist in the organization of events such as extended schools, shared education, or even PTA as well. One of the really big things when it comes to advancing your career, we find, is really networking. It's such a powerful tool in any profession, in particular in education. And building relationships with other educators, administrators, and thought leaders can open doors to new ideas, opportunities, and collaboration that you might just not have discovered on your own. It's always a good idea to engage actively in online forums, attend educational conferences, and that obviously includes your union conferences, and join professional associations to meet like-minded professionals. And these connections can really lead to job opportunities, and you might have projects you want to collaborate on with colleagues, or you simply exchange innovative teaching strategies. And really having a strong network reflects the breadth of your resources and your support system when it comes to navigating your career's challenges and opportunities. For developing leadership skills, again, we've got leadership training programs, there's mentorship, and there's leading initiatives and projects. And it's hard to overstate the importance of leadership in schools. Not only do strong leaders, as we all know, create a better academic environment for students and the faculty, but they also create measurable outcomes that demonstrate improvements. And there are many forms of leaderships, and it doesn't always have to mean that you ultimately become a principal. There can be more pastoral leadership roles, there are more curricular leadership roles, there are assisting roles, there are head of department, head of key stage. All of these are, in effect, leadership roles. Mentorship is something that we find is actually really useful. A mentor is obviously somebody with deeper knowledge about your area and who has successfully gone through all advancement stages in your career. We would always suggest you pick a mentor who listens to you and offers essential advice to advance your education career. And those mentors can guide you and provide help when you feel stuck. However, to benefit from a mentorship, you must be open with your mentor and obviously share all of the details that can help them offer their guidance. Again, you can find an effective mentor by networking inside and outside of your school. And I know that all of us through unions, we offer mentorships through our unions as well. We can always put you in touch with people who can help you along the way. Of course, you can also become a mentor, and we find that quite often that one of the first areas that people become mentors in is really induction in the ECT program for new and recently qualified teachers, which is really a brilliant step forward because you will most likely just have gone through that and it's all fresh, the knowledge is fresh, and you can guide beginning teacher through those stages yourself. And again, that adds obviously to your CV. You might also be interested in leading initiatives and projects. It doesn't always have to mean that you have to start something new. You can take the responsibility for an existing project in your school and work to develop and improve it moving forward. And each school will be different in how or if these opportunities exist. And it might also be something if you're looking to apply to a different school, doesn't necessarily have to be a vice principal or principal role, but it can be a role that has certain leadership elements attached to it, or even just that you see that it's a much bigger school with much bigger opportunities that you might avail of. And that can be a move towards advancing your career as well. Staying informed and innovative is something that we do always as teachers, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do our jobs. But as technological advancements are bringing in the new things every day in the education sector, it's even more so important to stay up to date with what's happening in the world of technology and education and teaching and learning. A good idea is always to subscribe to news, journals, and magazines who talk about your area. And you can also attend educational seminars, workshops, or conferences. This is a really good opportunity to discuss with other professionals what is happening in their schools, and it can bring new ideas to your schools as well. Again, I'm going to mention the joint union training sessions and webinars, and most of the in-person ones, because you really get to meet other union reps or just people who are interested in the same area of expertise that you're looking at. It's a great way to network that way as well. Publishing and presenting is also something you might want to look at, although admittedly that is something that probably doesn't appeal to an awful lot of teachers, and it's obviously very time consuming as well. But it doesn't have to be, you don't have to publish a chapter in a book or write a book yourself. It can be little bits, it can be even blogs that you might want to start, or starting to create. We've actually had members who come from a particular educational background who then came up with their own um, businesses out of that. And Blended and I is just one that we obviously want to mention here, who came through the COVID pandemic and just really gathered that expertise and channeled that expertise in technology and using technology for teaching. And they are now a really successful company offering that. But even if you don't want to publish, you can obviously do your research, which undoubtedly enriches your understanding of effective teaching practices, and gives you knowledge in terms of what shapes the educational policy and practice. And most unions will have, all unions will have education and policy subcommittees. Again, that's one area you might want to contribute or be a part of, and then that's a good way to start that journey. Opportunities to publish, again, doesn't have to be a book. We've got the UTU News, we've got Printout, and I know the NEU has their own journals as well. Participating in educational policy and discussion and advocating for educational improvements. I've mentioned that. You can, of course, sit on one of the subcommittees of the unions, but there are other ways, even through the Educational Authority or CCMS and other educational bodies, that you can participate in focus groups even, or through networking. Joining committees and boards will allow you to get the voice of the professional in the room. And it's always a good idea to highlight to your principal that if opportunities arise for a practitioner forum, as I just mentioned, that you would be interested in that work. So if they are being approached by an organization and asked whether they are practitioners in their school who might be interested in a particular area, they have got your name on the radar or on the list, and they can then contact you. You can obviously engage with policymakers and the community as well. And as you all know, we are entering into a period of electioneering, and now really is the time to make sure that the main asks for education are to the forefront of all the politicians. And we as unions, we plan on sending out some guidance and some keywords that you might want to mention when it comes to that. But obviously be prepared to have those conversations on your doorstep or out in town as well. You can also write to your local representatives, and you can make them aware of the wider issues in education and more local issues. Personal branding and online presence is something that we see more and more as well, especially since COVID, where everything has just become technologically advanced and online to a certain extent as well. So you can obviously build a professional online profile. Technology is something that is really, really useful when it comes to that, because way more teachers are now seeking information and support online than it used to be the case. And if you have a lot of information to share or experiences which you think would benefit others, then you could consider, here we are. Nope. Then you could consider setting up a website or even a blog for this. Writing the blog post or responses on Facebook forums, you can create videos, and participating in webinars are all ways to do that. And that's how obviously Blended and I started. And even through our joint union training team, contact your respective union, we are always seeking for facilities for workshops and webinars. If this is something you have an interest in, then we would be more than happy to involve you in the preparations and give you the platform as well to lead on particular areas. So to come to our conclusion here, before we come to a question and answer session, Advancing your teaching career is not a quick journey, and it's most likely be a journey of lifelong learning, innovation, and dedication. From pursuing further education to embracing leadership roles, specializing in high demand areas, and leveraging the power of technology, each strategy you adopt opens new paths for professional growth and enriches the learning experience of your students. The essence of teaching lies not just in imparting knowledge, but also in inspiring change and fostering a love for learning that extends beyond the classroom walls. As you navigate your career, keep your passion for education at the forefront and never lose sight of the profound impact you have on shaping the minds and futures of your students. In doing so, you advance your career and contribute to the betterment of education as a whole, leaving a lasting legacy that transcends the confines of the classroom. So it is a continuous journey. There are lots and lots of paths and pathways and opportunities. And that's what we wanted to, I suppose, just summarize in this webinar. We are now going to open this forum up so that you can ask questions or even share some of your own experiences, which might be really useful, because again, this is a forum where you connect with like-minded people who are obviously all interested in advancing their career to a certain extent. So Stephen, if we can open this to a bit of a